to welcome everyone to the Put Salesforce.com and Overdrive with Noble System Automation conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you should need assistance during the call, press *0 and an operator will come back online to assist you. Thank you. Mr. Jeff Fontanino, you may begin your conference.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar session. My name is Jeff Fontanino. I'm the Director of SMB Sales and Business Development for Noble Systems. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. As the operator said, all lines have been placed on mute. We'll hold a QA session at the end of today's webinar. You'll be able to submit questions through your browser. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll notice a button or a section there that says Q&A. If you'll type those in and submit it, we'll address those questions at the end of today's session. Joining us today, we have Howard Leary, Director of Strategic Solutions and Technical Subject Matter Expert for Noble Systems Salesforce.com Open CTI integration.
Thank you, Jeff. This is Howard. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I just want to introduce myself. Again, my name is Howard Leary. I've got 18 years of professional experience in contact center technologies, mostly in the solution consulting area where I'm helping customers to optimize customer experience and improve agent performance. Back to you, Jeff.
Well, great. So let's go to the next slide there, Howard. For today's agenda, we'll cover a high-level overview of the solution, including Sales Cloud integration, Service Cloud integration, record selection, and list transfer, as well as software touch points. We'll have some frequently asked questions as well, and then follow up the QA session at the end. Howard, let's begin with a high-level overview of the Noble solution for OpenCTI integration to Salesforce.com.
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. So one of the things that we wanted to do is really to leverage this new CTI, OpenCTI capability from Salesforce.com. We know that they've announced the end of life of their desktop CTI toolkit. That should be occurring somewhere around summer of 2004 or 14, excuse me. And so we wanted to take advantage of this new approach, and it's browser and platform agnostic as well as telephony agnostic. It really takes advantage of browser push technologies and so forth, and we're going to show you how that benefits you in today's webinar. Most importantly, this solution works whether your Noble solution is either premise-based or cloud-based, so it has a very tight integration for Salesforce.com in any of those scenarios. Just kind of at a high-level architecture, one of the things that makes it powerful, again, being browser agnostic, for example, you can use any browser to access Salesforce.com and the Noble Salesforce OpenCTI application. It also allows you the ability to localize all of the communication between the Noble Enterprise Contact Center and the Salesforce.com applications at the agent's browser level. So all of those controls are embedded directly into the Salesforce.com user experience, and you'll see that it also supports both Sales Cloud and Service Cloud integration, so that as you move freely between Salesforce.com Sales Cloud applications to Service Cloud applications, the same CTI information will persist through that transition in those Force.com apps. So we'll take a look at that again in a few moments. Perhaps the most important is what does it buy you at the agent desktop? And so we really wanted to provide one-click access to all of these types of call controls that are common in contact center applications and certainly within the Noble Enterprise Contact Center solution as well as the Noble hosted offering. And so, some important things like LDAP logins, the ability to pause and resume, to make manual calls and transfers and things like that were all very important capabilities, along with call recording and other quality initiative, quality management solutions from Noble.
So, Howard, one of the more challenging aspects of managing inside sales teams is ensuring that callbacks are scheduled, callbacks are actually made at the appropriate time. Can you expand on the functionality that this integration will provide the end user?
Yes, certainly, Jeff. We have this scheduled callback capability within the Noble Contact Center suite, and it really allows a user, whether they be a sales agent or any Salesforce.com user, to go in and schedule a callback for a specific time and date for a specific contact or lead. And in this way, the system manages that and returns that to the agent at the appropriate time and initiates that callback. Now, those callbacks can be agent-specific, but they can also be for anybody in the team. And so some basic configuration on the Noble side will allow that agent to determine whether this is going to be for anybody in the team or do I want to keep this callback for myself.
That's very good. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. So when we look at the agent login process, one of the things we wanted to just point out here is that because we're using, this OpenCTI solution, when an agent logs into Salesforce.com, they'll be presented with the Noble OpenCTI window or frame, within their browser. So all of this stays within the Salesforce.com user experience. As that agent logs in, they're automatically going to be invisible to Harmony or Maestro agent stations and the dashboards and so forth that are part of the Noble Enterprise Contact Center. So a manager can now see when an agent logs in, they can monitor the calls, they can barge in and so forth, as well as just, managing, their contact center as they go about the daily operation. Excuse me. In this particular case, we're showing an outbound screen pop. Very easily could be an inbound screen pop. But the main thing that we want to show you here is that as you are presented with a call, the lead or contact that you're dealing with is going to be automatically populated and presented within the Salesforce experience. And then all of the different call control capabilities that you have enabled for this particular agent are going to appear in this window. Now, what this allows you to do is to control the types of contact center controls that would be available to the agent. You could do that scheduled callback that we talked about, for example, or transfer a call and so on.
So I noticed in that previous screen, Howard, the ability to do manual calls. So in most inside sales environments or sales operations, salespeople make multiple calls in a prospecting mode. So through this interface, agents are able to actually launch from the interface a manual call to a number that perhaps isn't in the record itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And in fact, while the Noble system also has the ability to manage multiple numbers and alternate dialing strategies, so whether you call the home first or the mobile number first, the manual dialing capability gives you that asymmetric approach to where, an agent can make a decision. Do I want to call the office line, the mobile line, or so on. So what we have within the integration is the ability to do click to call. So anytime you see a phone number that's underlined or the little green phone icon next to it, you can simply click on that, and if click to dial is enabled in your configuration, it will automatically launch the call. Alternatively, you can look for that number and then enter it once you select the manual dial button within the OpenCTI application and then enter that phone number and dial. And that may be important to do that for TCPA compliance and other reasons, particularly when dialing wireless numbers. So yes, absolutely have that capability.
Very good.
So, another thing that goes along with, contacts within Salesforce.com is activity history. And when you terminate a call within Noble, the Noble OpenCTI Salesforce application and integration, anything that you enter into that Noble, the Noble OpenCTI frame, in terms of agent notes or what have you, or termination codes, those are going to automatically be logged to activity history. And so when you do that, if you go to a particular lead or contact and look under activity history, you will see an entry that's automatically made.
Yeah, it's historically there's this disconnect between the CRM application and the communications platform, whether it be a PBX or a cell phone for that matter, the ability for sales management to actually see those results. So in the past, sales management's relied upon the salesperson to actually log those activities and to actually perform those activities. It's challenging at best to manage to the metrics, not having an automated system. So by way of the Noble platform, the call is being outpulsed, being placed, and the disposition or the end result of that call is automatically written to the database for purpose of reporting. Can you expand upon that?
Yeah, in fact, that's a great transition. The next thing I wanted to show you was that because of that update to the activity history, you automatically have now the ability to run reports and create dashboards within the Salesforce.com reporting and dashboard framework. Now, so any authorized user within Salesforce.com that has access to create reports and dashboards can now see that activity history and not have to rely so much on the agent to enter those contacts, if you will. But we want to eliminate the duplication of effort and make that more efficient for the agent so that management then can have accurate and reliable dashboarding.
I'm sorry, Howard. It's extremely important, I believe, that the dashboard information that's now being driven through the OpenCTI integration, being driven by the Noble platform, is accurate, up to date, and as in near real time, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. And so when you create these views within Salesforce.com, you can go in at any time and hit refresh. You know, within those capabilities of Salesforce.com, everything is up to the minute as of that refresh. You also have even more detailed reporting within the Salesforce, within the Noble solution as well. Right. Yeah, that's fantastic. So all of these reports, all of these dispositions are predicated on the call control and call setup. How complex, how difficult is it for me as a sales manager to work within the OpenCTI interface and set up these call controls?
Well, you know, you might imagine that you'd have to be a web developer or some type of programmer to do that, but we've made it really easy. In fact, one of the ways that you go in and configure those tools is simply to go into our Composer Designer tool, and under the toolbar options, you have the ability, as you see here on the right, to enable or disable just by selecting true or false statements here next to different functionality. So if you want to be able to make manual calls or transfers or even the ability to hang up or put a person on hold, it's simply a true or false statement, and then you save that, and it publishes to Salesforce.com's OpenCTI, and you know that when the agent logs in, it's going to be there. This functionality will be there.
That seems pretty easy.
Yeah, very straightforward. You know, in fact, we've even taken it a step further when it comes to campaign setup. So not only do you have these capabilities for call controls, but now when you want to do data integration from a campaign setup perspective, the same tools that you would use as a manager to create a campaign within Salesforce.com can now be enabled so that it automates the process of setting up calling lists and campaigns on the Noble platform. Now, the advantage here is that you don't have to learn yet another platform and how it works. So all of the list scheduling and list builder capabilities are set up to just be automated. So as soon as I select a checkbox, for example, within this Salesforce campaign setup, it's going to automatically give me, you know, the campaign and have it ready to dial as soon as an agent logs in. So let's look at it from actually inside Salesforce.com. It's really this simple. I go to my campaign tab, and within the campaign tab, I can create different views and so forth. And when I select a campaign or create a new campaign, I have the ability to do three things, or actually you have three new fields, if you will. You'll see right here that there's a Noble Systems telephony campaign checkbox, and an immediately dial updates checkbox, and then a field for capturing the Noble list ID. As soon as I click this checkbox and I save this campaign, it's going to create that process, that automated process using our web services integration with Salesforce, and establish that the calling list and the campaign is going to scrub the numbers. It's going to basically be ready to go as soon as an agent logs into that campaign. And then there's also this immediately dial updates capability. And what that really does is when you create a campaign or a list, and you add additional records to that list, so you perhaps create a new campaign to append to an existing campaign running in the system, those records are going to get appended to the end of the list. Well, by clicking the immediately dial updates, you're now going to be able to immediately call those updates and bring them to the top of the queue. So that's an option.
Wow, that's very, very powerful. So sales managers or designees on the system who have the ability to run these campaigns via simply one click, call through those updated records within the list. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So one-click access, not only for agent access to different call controls, but even for managers here to make some really powerful.
Oh, wow.
Yep, absolutely.
So it brings to mind in an inside sales environment where perhaps the marketing team or a lead vendor that you subscribe to submits a large quantity or a quantity of new leads to the list. I can simply go in and click, refresh that, and then put those to the top of the queue. So I increase my speed to lead both through automation and the ability to requeue that quickly. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you have those new leads that are coming into your system, you don't want to continue just dialing all the old stale leads. You want to be able to bring those new leads to the front of the queue, and this is a great way to do that.
Right, very good.
So another way we can look at integration is also on the inbound lookup side. So if we get a phone call, the IVR is going to do a search for a match, and if there is a match, it's going to pass that information on to the Noble application and the Salesforce OpenCTI integration, providing screen pop into the appropriate lead or contact. If we don't, however, find a match, it's a completely new number or new contact that's not matched in any way within the IVR, we can then pop a custom search request screen for the agents within Noble, within Salesforce. So that's
awesome. So the Noble platform really provides that telecommunications infrastructure for both inbound and outbound calling. The OpenCTI adapter does the lookup for a corresponding matching record in Salesforce.com, and so if there's not one, you get the ability to add one. Is that right?
That's right. Exactly.
That's very good.
So we also, maybe wanted to transition into frequently asked questions. Do you want to kind of reiterate the rules for how to do that?
Yeah, very good. So we have a few frequently asked questions that Howard has been approached with in the past. We'll run through those with you. To submit questions, in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a link for Q&A. Type your question in, hit enter, submit, and they'll queue up for Howard and I to address those. And we'll do those right after we finish this segment here for frequently asked questions.
Excellent. Excellent. So, sorry, Jeff, my PC froze there for a second. Okay, so looking at campaign and lead workflow, one of the common questions we get is, can a lead move from campaign A to campaign B, and does the calling list update? And the answer is an absolute yes. In fact, if the criteria for a record says that it's eligible for campaign now, but due to the activity on that lead, based on the disposition or status code associated with that lead changes, and it's no longer qualified for that campaign, it can then, based on certain rules, be a member of perhaps another campaign and then be dynamically added and inserted to that campaign as well. So if you think about that,
it's very powerful in terms of multi-phase contact strategies. So records will likely move in and out of other tactics in terms of contacts, and in this example, they move seamlessly throughout those. Correct?
Yes, exactly. So think of it as lead workflow, if you will, for campaigns that might do some initial contact through one contact and then automatically move into another level of contact or campaign.
Very good.
And another common question is how does the call scripting work in Salesforce.com? Now, we do know that there are some basic scripting capabilities that exist within Salesforce.com, and it uses something they call visual workflow. Our understanding is that requires the use of Service Cloud, and so that may or may not be a fit for what our customers are trying to accomplish. But the really good news here is that customers can also simultaneously use the Salesforce.com integration as well as the Noble Composer Agent Desktop, which is our web-based, scripting application. So they can work in simultaneously at the Agent Desktop.
That's important. Different levels and different strategies in a campaign have different scripting requirements or different approaches. So, and anybody on the call today can learn more about that by visiting the Noble website at www.noblesystems.com.
Exactly. Very good. So, another very common question that we have is, how much of the agent reports would be done in Noble Reports versus Salesforce.com? Now, we already showed that, different things like the sales figures and activity history and so forth can be accomplished within Salesforce.com. Your call detail statistics, though, the very detailed contact center level reporting is still going to remain within Noble, and but you can still build the Salesforce dashboards with that activity history on your own. We are looking at the possibility in the future of having maybe some predefined dashboards and reports within Salesforce.com, but it's again very straightforward and easy to create those reports.
Oh, very good, very good.
Do we have any questions out there on the line, Jeff?
So we have received a few questions. Let me pull this up real quick. The first question is regarding campaigns. What functionality does the campaign tab in Salesforce.com provide?
Okay, so within the campaign tab that we saw earlier, there are some capabilities to set campaign parameters, but it's mostly around selecting the list. So that's really more of a Salesforce.com question in terms of the actual features. The three things that differentiate it with the integration, of course, are the ability to automatically create the campaign and Noble Systems, bypassing all of that other setup that you would have to do normally, and then the immediate dial, and then the list ID tracking.
Okay. Great. Another question regarding inbound search screen. The question is, if there is an inbound call, if there is an inbound call that does not screen pop a customer, is there a search button that appears to search and bring up a record?
Yes. In fact, one of the things we were talking about earlier was this data integration screen. Let me get back to that screen here. And you can see, again, that if there is no match, then that's when we do that custom search screen. And then that allows them to search for records within Salesforce.
Great. we have time for one more question here, Howard. Very relevant question. This is about storage of customer data in the integration. In this integration, where is customer data stored?
Okay.
And there's a follow-up to how much information is stored in calling list within the Noble Contact Center.
Okay. Great questions. So in this integration, Noble does not use a custom table, but it does have small pieces of information that are stored in list tables. And those calling list tables typically, at a minimum, are going to have a phone number and perhaps even a zip code, so that we can determine time zone. Any additional information that might be there for initial screen pop or for just general campaign sorting and so forth would be there as well. But really the system of record is Salesforce.com, and we'd want to keep that Salesforce.com as the system of record. We do have when you engage with your sales team, we do have some documentation that details the standard setup in terms of the minimum information that we need, the different types of phone numbers that are associated with leads versus contacts and how we map those in the system and so forth. But again, personally identifiable information, the data that's associated with those contacts and leads really remains within Salesforce.
Great. Well, I think we have one last question, Howard, from the audience. It relates to campaign members, and the question is, how do opportunities work within the dialer call list, since we can only add leads or contacts to campaigns?
Yes. So this is really a limitation in terms of the way that the Salesforce.com handles leads and contacts. So we definitely work within the capabilities of Salesforce.com, for example. When you do an inbound call, they're going to get a screen pop for that specific lead or contact, but that lead or contact can be associated with an opportunity or with an account. And so within Salesforce.com, you have the ability to navigate to those different areas, and the CTI information persists. So even if I'm looking at the lead from the screen pop and I go to the opportunity, maybe looking around on the account, maybe I switch to the Service Cloud, no matter where I go within Salesforce.com, I still have the same CTI information. I can very quickly get back to that particular lead for the screen pop, just by clicking on the lead in the OpenCTI integration.
Great, fantastic. Thank you very much. I think that concludes today's webinar. I appreciate everybody's time. I'd like to add, for more information about Noble Systems, OpenCTI integration, about Noble Systems products and services, please visit our website at www.noblesystems.com. Be happy to reach out to you and work with you in a business assessment and move forward in helping you become more successful, more productive, and more efficient in your inside sales operations.
Thank you. This does conclude today's conference call. You may now disconnect.